You're listening to Boobies and Newbies. Find and follow Boobies and Newbies at Boobies Podcast across platforms and on boobiesandnewbies.com. And don't forget at Real Kelly Ray on TikTok, because TikTok thinks I'm making porn if I use boobies in the handle. Thanks, TikTok! Welcome to Boobies and Newbies, the podcast that asks novice romance readers to think outside the dick in a box and brave the unbridled world of erotica. I'm your host, Kelly Reynolds, and today we are bringing you the first episode in the Fantasy Fiction Draft, a quarterly series where we draft our top book picks for the season ahead, and you get to decide whose team you like the best. Now, before I introduce today's team captains and go over the draft rules, let me take a brief moment to remind you of a few housekeeping details. First things first, you can always catch up on past episodes of the podcast on our website, boobiesandnewbies.com, or on your favorite podcast app. Be sure to follow Boobies and Newbies across social platforms at Boobies Podcast or at Real Kelly Ray on TikTok. If you're a fan of the podcast and you've got a few minutes to spare, I'd greatly appreciate a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. And last but not least, if you want to be the first to know about what we're reading next and have exclusive access to bonus clips, private chats, and so much more, you might consider hopping on over to our Patreon. Now, as per usual, I will include links for all of the above in today's show notes, along with any links for today's guests. So let's meet the guests, shall we? First up, she's a KU author with 2 books out in the wild, the Love in Wilds series to be exact. See what I did there? And you can expect a 3rd book from her later this year. It's Anna P.
Woohoo!
I love it. You're your own cheering section, as you should be. Now, Anna, I have to ask you, I'm going to put everybody on the spot here, but lucky you get to start first. If you could describe your writing style in 1 sentence, what would it be?
That is a terrible question, but thank you for making me start with this one.
What are people getting if they read an Anna P. book? What can they expect?
Badass heroines and heroes who love them for who they are.
Hey, enough said. That sounds good to me. I think you know it better than you think you do. I mean, we're all our own marketing team, right?
That's true. Thank you.
Well, I, for one, am looking forward to book 3, and I know I'm not alone in that. So until then, next up is romance reader, reviewer, and co-host of the Holy Ship podcast. Please welcome Esther.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Esther. Now, why don't you take a brief moment to tell everybody about your podcast, Holy Ship, and how it came to be?
So Rhea and I connected, that is my podcast co-host extraordinaire, because we both suffer from, how should we call it, leaving the evangelical church and a great dose of religious trauma with a little bit of queer trauma sprinkled in for me. And then Rhea and I just bonded instantly. And we were like, you know what? Purity culture really hurt us and romance novels really healed us. Let's discuss. And so we do. It's been a couple months since we recorded, but we have plans to start super soon again. And there will be more talks of romance novels coming at you, and you can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
I love that. And honestly, I think romance novels have done so much healing for so many of us, even if we're not ex-evangelicals.
Yes, and I think that there is so much purity culture embedded in all of us just because of culture in general. And I think that everyone can benefit from listening to people talk about how damaging purity culture really is.
Yes. And this is what I love about romance podcasts. We might all discuss the same genre, sometimes the same books. However, we each bring our own unique perspective to the table. So All the more reason to give Holy Ship a listen after listening to this episode, wherever you're listening to your podcast. So there you go. And finally, he's quickly become one of my favorite book talkers, partly because of his book recs, but mostly because of his infectious smile. It's Jose Orlando.
¿Qué está pasando? That's what's up in Spanish.
Love it. Thank you. No, I'm so excited to have you here. I feel like I already know you because I see you on my phone screen every day when I open TikTok.
Thank you.
Now, it's only fair that I put you on the spot too. And seeing as you mostly read and review queer romances, I want to know if there's a particular book you'd recommend for anybody new to reading queer romance.
Wow. I think Boyfriend Material is a good start by Alexis Hall. One of my favorites. It is hilarious. Everybody should start with that.
I'm a sucker for fake dating in all its variations. So, and I love Alexis Hall books. So there you go, the perfect combo.
Yeah.
Okay, now that I've put everybody on the spot, you all did amazing. But now let's get ready to rumble. So for everybody listening, and of course for my fabulous group of who I'm calling team captains for this episode, let's talk about fantasy football, because I'm the daughter of a retired football coach. Football has always been a major part of my family, so if I can find a way to squeeze it into a discussion about romance, I'm gonna do it. And that is what led us to the fantasy fiction draft. So for anybody listening who isn't really fully versed in the world of fantasy football, perfectly okay. Honestly, I'm saving you a lot of time. How this is going to go is we are each going to select 5 books that are coming out between January 1st and March 31st, 2023, to add to our roster, our team, if you will. And as soon as we have our picks, I will be happy to share them online so everybody can vote on which team they like best. Although, let's be honest, we're all winners here. And we'll go from there. And if this is something people like, we will bring this back later in the spring, summer, fall, and finish out the year. And to keep things, interesting, I decided that we were going to draw from some categories because there's just so many great books that are coming out. And I know when I've given full creative freedom, sometimes that's more complicated and just more stressful than when there's some guidelines. So for the sake of that, the categories we will be selecting for today are indie published romance, traditionally published romance, an LGBTQ plus romance, a romance by a new to us author, and a freebie, which can really be any of the above or beyond. The order has been chosen at random. We will rotate with each pick. That way everybody has a chance to select first. And seeing as we have 5 categories and only 4 of us, I will use a name randomizer to select the order for the final round. So the order has already been chosen. Jose will be selecting first, and we are going to start with an indie published romance. So Jose, you get the first pick. What are you going with?
I'm actually going to choose Learn to Love You by Jade Hernandez. She's actually one of my mutuals, and she's great. I don't usually read female-male romance, but if it's Latinx, I'm up for it. It has the Latino flavor.
I love it. Okay, that sounds good. I love, and like I said, I will be adding these to lists that everybody can peruse. So if don't worry about finding a pen to write down all of your picks. We will have them for you at the end. So great. What a great way to start. I have the next pick, and I am going with Our Ride to Forever by Julie Olivia. And this is book 3 in her Honeywood series. It comes out February 9th. And I love this series. It all takes place at a fictional theme park that Julie has created. She has merch for this theme park. She has drawn a map for this theme park. The amount of world building that's gone into this series thus far has just been so much fun. So I, for one, am just excited to read more from it. Over to you, Anna.
I am gonna pick Powerless by Elsie Silver. And I knew Esther was gonna pick this too, but so thank you for putting me before her because this helped. But it comes out on Feb 15th. No, sorry, Feb 10th. My apologies. And it is the third book in the Chestnut Spring series, which is Elsie's second series, and the series has just been absolutely phenomenal. And I read an arc of it recently, and it just melted my mind. So Powerless by Elsie Silver, Feb 10th. Definitely pre-order it, buy it, whatever it is, just get it.
I love it. Everything I've read of Elsie Silver has been so fantastic. So I can't wait to read more. All right, Esther, rounding out the picks for indie published romance, what's it going to be?
Well, it was going to be Powerless, but it's not anymore. My backup pick was Good Girl Fail by Roni Lauren, which was published January 17th, and it is an MMF poly romance. And one of my friends messaged me after she had read an arc and said, hey, that purity culture, religious trauma stuff, yeah, you should read this book. And so that immediately bumped it up onto my list. I've loved everything I've read from Roni so far, and I'm very excited to read that one. I haven't read it yet, but it is already out.
I guess I didn't realize that was a new release because that was actually a book recommended to me for that 12 books from 12 friends in 12 months reading challenge. And so I do have that on my reading challenge this year. I don't think I have it until maybe like October or November, but I'm excited. So I can't wait to hear your thoughts on it once you read it.
Hopefully soon.
Yay! Okay, on to traditionally published romance. Now, this can be in any category within traditionally published. So I'm starting this round and then we will continue the cycle from there. So for me, I wanted to plug an arc that I'm actually in the middle of reading right now, and it just comes in under the deadline. It releases March 28th. It's The Scandalous Ladies of London by Sophie Jordan. And this is the first in a new historical romance series. So I have trouble jumping into a series like more than 2 or 3 books in. I always want to go back and read from the beginning. So I, for one, am excited. I think I've also kind of been craving historical romance lately. I'll go through periods where I just can't read it and then periods where that's all that I want to read. So I'm excited for that. And yeah, it looks like it's going to be fun. I think there's an older woman at main character, so that's always exciting to read. Oh, Anna, over to you.
All right. I'm gonna pick X's and O's by Amy Leo. I haven't read the first one, but I've heard such good things about it, and I'm really excited about the second one. So I'm hoping to get the second one and read them both together because, I'm just excited about these books in general.
Yeah, I almost chose that one, so now I'm kind of glad that I didn't. All right, Esther, how about you?
My traditionally published pick is The Neighbor Favor by Christina Forrest, which is a Black romance that is coming out February 28th. And it is between a bookworm, her neighbor, who is also an author, and a little bit of like fake dating, help find a date. I just started my arc of it today, but I'm already totally and utterly charmed by this book.
That's good. I love to hear that. And also it's got a very cute cover. I'm looking at the cover right now. Love the colors. Love the illustration. I know they taught us not to judge a book by its cover, but I do. I see one and I'm like, that's really cute. I want to read it.
We all judge books by their cover. If you don't, you're lying.
We admit our faults here on this podcast. Jose, how about you? You get a final pick for this one.
I chose Lunar Love by Lauren Cohn Jessamine.
That was my second pick, so I'm glad you got it.
It was just released on January 10th.
Nice.
Very fresh.
Yay. Okay, cool. I think we've got some great books to look forward to so far. So then on to one of my favorite categories, which is LGBTQ plus romance. And this could be either an indie or traditionally published book. So I think amongst the four of us, we do read a lot of queer romance, so I'm so worried about somebody getting my pick before me. But this time around, we're starting. Oh God, and I'm last this time too. We're starting with Anna.
All right. My pick is The Education of Pip by Sarah Wallace. It comes out on Feb 25th. Sarah is an indie published author. This is her third book in her debut series. It's got a bit of magic, and it's got, it's a historical romance, but it's also got a bit of magic, and it's just, I loved her first book. I beta read for her, so I love her future books. I'm really excited for this third one. And so Education of Pip by Sarah Wallace. Yep, that's my choice.
Nice. And Esther, on to you.
I'm so glad that I'm not going last for this category. My pick is Something Wild and Wonderful by Anita Kelly, who is one of the most genuine, delightful human beings ever. And this is their second traditionally published book. And it is a male-male romance set on the Pacific Coast Trail. And Anita recently posted a thread of tweets about how one of the main characters in this book is a queer Christian and how he navigates his journey
Perfect.
and how he balances faith and queerness. And so I am very excited. Now, Anita did say they were very clear that it's not like the primary focus of his journey, but it is an underlying theme of the book. And one of my friends just finished it. So yeah, that's my pick. Something Wild and Wonderful by Anita Kelly.
And I love Anita's previous book, so that sounds great. All right, Jose, don't pick the one that I've got on my list. Don't do it.
I hope not. I picked Always the Almost by Edward Underhill. It releases on February 14th, yeah, on Valentine's Day.
Perfect.
And it is by a trans author with a trans main character. It is a gay romance.
Oh, we love it. We love to see it. We love to read it. We need more trans representation in our romance novels in general.
Plus the cover is beautiful.
I love it. Well, and as we know, we're all hoes for covers here. So that's just one more reason. Oh my gosh, I'm so thankful that nobody chose it. I'm going with For Her Consideration by Amy Spalding. And this one I'm super excited about because one of the main characters is a writer, an aspiring LA script writer, and I had some time where I tried to do that in Hollywood. And so I'm a sucker for anything like related to Hollywood. It's a sapphic romance. I think she falls for her boss, or no. She falls for a movie star, a bossy movie star, which, I mean, that's the dream, right? Like, I think even as like a writer in LA, my dream was to get swept off my feet by a movie star in the process. So it didn't work out for me, but you know what? I hope it works out in Amy Spalding's book. Okay, 2 categories left to go. And the next one is going to be a romance by a new to you author. And this is something that is always really important to me. I talk about this on the podcast all the time, like diversifying what you're reading, who you're reading, finding new to you authors. You're not going to love every book by everybody, and that's perfectly okay, but you never know when you're going to find something that just connects with you on another level. So this one, Esther, you get to start.
I would put money on the fact that none of you even remotely considered this book, because I'm going to be honest, I barely did. And it is Queen of Dust by H.E. Dare, which is the pen name for Hannah Ernest, who has 2 other books previously published. And it is a sci-fi erotica, which is not a genre that I would reach for ever, but I did because of the cover and also because Hannah is a delightful human being. And it is wild, like absolutely wild, completely horny. It opens with an orgy and goes from there.
Oh, okay, yes. You know what? The only reason I know about this is because you tweeted about it. And I was like, it starts with an orgy. Sign me up. Like, I don't even care what it's about.
It is this remarkable exploration through space with planets being taken over and a bodyguard. So the pitch on it is Anastasia meets the bodyguard.
Stop.
And set in space. Listen, I would have never picked it up. So Hannah has a couple previously published books. This is her new release. It was just published on Tuesday. When we're recording this, that's January 24th.
Wow.
And it is phenomenal.
I'm still trying to wrap my brain around Anastasia meets the bodyguard in space, but
Listen,
I like it.
I understand.
I'm not mad at it, so fine by me. Yeah, you had me at orgy in space, but like to add those layers onto it, I'm now sold. So, Jose, over to you. Orgy in space? Any?
No, but it has monsters.
Okay, perfect.
This is from an author that is very popular on TikTok, and since I have a thing for gargoyles, since the Disney TV show, I think I'm gonna try The Gargoyles Captive by Katie Roberts.
Perfect. Is that the next one in her series where she did The Dragon's Bride and then there was the Kraken, I think, was the second one?
Yeah, this is book 3. It releases on March 28th.
Okay.
I haven't read the previous ones, but this one has a gargoyle.
Okay, so it's gargoyles do it for you, but not dragons and krakens.
I don't know. Maybe.
The things we discover about ourselves while reading. Yeah, you know what? I feel like last year dragons like really had their moment, and I feel like maybe this is going to be the year of the gargoyle.
Last Christmas I fell in love with a Krampus, so
Anything's possible. I love it. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, that's I didn't realize that was coming out so soon, so I'm excited about that. Mine is a book that is actually out at this point. It came out January 24th as well. It's Chick Magnet by Emma Barry. And people who listen to Boobies and Newbies, by the time this episode releases, will already know about this book a little bit because I interviewed Emma earlier this month, and just hearing her talk about the book made me want to read it more. I'm especially interested in the fact that COVID, the pandemic actually like plays a role in her book, in that it's kind of affected these two characters, one of whom is a veterinarian and one of whom is an influencer who like makes TikTok and YouTube videos about her farm animals. And it kind of looks at like how the pandemic has affected people in different ways. So like for her, it's been really beneficial towards her furthering this like online community and career. And for him, it's had more of a negative impact as far as like the information people are absorbing online, and you know, him working in an office in a different environment. So yeah, I'm probably making it sound really serious. I think there's also like a rom-com aspect to it, but I think it sounds really fun. And yeah, if you haven't listened to that podcast interview yet with Emma Barry, I highly recommend checking it out. She also talks about all the animals that she has at her house, which made me very happy. So there's that. And then Anna.
Right. My pick is The Love Wager by Lynn Painter. I have never read a Lynn Painter book, but I've heard that she's good and people love her stories. And this one's got two people meeting on a dating app and then fake dating after that. And basically it's just got a lot of things that I like. It comes out March 14th, and the cover again is beautiful. It's nice, yellow and bright, and catches your attention. So
nice. I also, in addition to like the fake dating, I know Jose talked about loving. I do love things that like come out of like technology, like whether it's like a dating app or somebody, you know, is a YouTuber. I love, because it's just very much the world we live in today.
absolutely.
Well, now that we've each had a chance to do first pick, we do have one more category, and this is our freebie category where we can choose literally any other book. And I'm going to randomize the name selector now to see what the order will be for this final category. So here we go. And we are kicking it off. Oh, right where we left off. Anna, you have first pick this time.
Yay! So my freebie is going to be Glove Save by Tegan Hunter. Comes out Feb 23rd. It is the 5th book in her 6th book. Thank you, Esther. It is in her Carolina Comets hockey romance series. And I'm just really excited for this one because the hero did impress me in the previous book, so I'm really excited to see how he redeems himself. For me personally, I'm sure other people liked him more than I did, but I'm really excited for this one. So Feb 23rd. Yep.
Cool. Awesome. And next up is going to be Jose.
Mine will be Heart and Halos by L. Evelyn. It is a M&M monster romance with a huge angel with two set of arms.
Okay.
There's
I like
a lot of hands.
your double the hands, double the pleasure. I love that you're coming in with all these monster romance, Rex.
It's out on February 9th.
Okay, cool. Again, just in time for Valentine's Day. I love that so many of these are coming out. I mean, because this will be my Valentine, is this monster with multiple hands. That sounds like a great Valentine's Day to me. All right, Esther, you get the next pick. I'm last again.
My pick for this category is The Build-Up by Tati Richardson, who is the co-host of Romance in Color. So she's also a podcast host. And this is her debut novel, which is Two Architects, Coworkers. It is also a Black romance, and I'm very excited about this one.
Yay! Yeah, I'm always excited too to hear about all of our friends who, have been podcasters, bloggers, reviewers, and are making the jump into writing and publishing themselves. So that's super exciting. And we love debuts, support debuts. So very excited for her. I am going with Best Served Hot by Amanda Elliott, because in addition to fake dating and technology, the other thing that I am a hoe for is food. And so you give me bakery, restaurant, cafe, any of that, and I will love you forever. And so this one is about two opposing restaurant critics who, of course, for one reason or another, have to work together. So you got that enemies to lovers, rivals, and food. And that's all I need. So
And Jewish rep.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Again, something we need more of. And that one comes out February 21st. So there you have it, folks. We have drafted our teams. Does everybody feel good? Everybody feel good about their team?
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel
Fabulous.
excellent.
Wonderful. And for everybody listening, I will be compiling lists of everyone's teams. We will be posting them online. You get to vote on which one you like the best. But again, the vote is arbitrary because we're all winners here. And I just like games. So that's really what it comes down to. That is what will happen next. And from there, we will do another draft later this spring for the next round of books that are coming out. But we've got so many to read before then. And it seems like most of them come out by Valentine's Day and have people with more than one hand or more than two hands. So even better. Throw in a tail too. That's where they really get me. That tail action. Well, friends who are joining me, would you mind telling everyone where they can find and follow you to read your reviews, read your books, watch your videos, and all that jazz? So, Jose, why don't we start with you?
Well, they can find me on TikTok as Orlando Reed and on Instagram as Orlando Reed Queer.
Perfect. Love it. Esther, how about you?
I am on Instagram as esther.reads, but I do a lot of book ramblings on Twitter as reads_Esther.
Yeah.
Those are my two.
That's how you can find out about the orgies in space, like I did. And
My
Anna,
tweets are unhinged.
yeah, in a good way. Anna,
You can find me on Instagram at Anna Writes Here, and my website, annawriteshere.com, for all updates on my books. And two of my books are available in Kindle Unlimited, with more coming soon.
yay! Yes, which we're all looking forward to. We will all report back as soon as we read Anna's book so we can talk about it and be excited.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for joining me today. This was such a joy, and I can't wait to read some of your picks, and I can't wait to hear what everybody else's picks are who are listening. So if you have further ones that you'd like to add to your team, let us know. I'll be sure to share a graphic so you can create your own fantasy fiction draft for the winter. And thanks so much for listening.
Thanks for having us, Kelly.
Thanks so much for listening. Tune in every Friday for a brand new episode of Boobies and Newbies. And don't forget, you can always catch up on previous episodes on your favorite podcast app or on boobiesandnewbies.com. Happy reading!